Hello everyone, today is 22nd of February, now it's 20 past 2, middle of the day by Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for a day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. There are quite a few very significant developments and news that I like to share with you for this moment, but before I start, let me remind you, if you are watching this video on YouTube, that I have a channel on Rumble also. Similar name, Levan Gudadze Opinion. Link is in the description box and in the pinned comment. And if you can, please subscribe to my channel on Rumble and watch videos on Rumble. It will be very helpful to reach wider audience, Rumble audience, first of all. And channel is monetized on Rumble. And who knows if our community on Rumble will grow and view numbers will grow on my videos sometime in the future. I don't know, in a year time, maybe Rumble may become a significant source of financial support for this media project of mine. So it is important to me. If you can, please watch my videos on Rumble and subscribe. That's been said, let's talk about news now. And by the way, I have live streams on Rumble from Monday to Thursday. Maybe Friday, 9 o'clock evening time, and yesterday, for example, we had a very nice chat. It's a chat basically in real time among members of our community, and same time I'm sharing some news, latest developments, and some news that I report on Telegram. So it's a good opportunity to stay in touch and communicate in real time. This is extra for Rumble only. And that's been said, let's talk about news. And according to Russian media and Russian military channels, there was no crucial changes on any of the sectors of the front line. Russian side continues to gradually increase pressure on Ukrainian units, and the main direction of hostilities, main hotspots are still Donetsk sector of the front line. Today, Russian Defense Ministry confirmed information that Pobeda settlement is under Russian control, this small village here. And although village itself may not be huge settlement, its location has big importance, because after Russian forces improve their positions in this area, Novomikhailovka and Paraskovievka, both settlements are in kind of somewhat operational encirclement, one may say, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ukrainian units will flee Novomikhailovka, at least Novomikhailovka, in upcoming days. But overall, no crucial changes on any of the sector of the front line. It's a daily routine, really. But initiative is in Russian hands, of course, all along the line of contact. And this is RIA Novosti's report exactly about Pobeda settlement. Russian Defense Ministry confirmed that this village is under full Russian control. Usually Russian Defense Ministry takes time to share information with public about progress of Russian special military operation, and this is exactly the case. We knew about Pobeda yesterday. I reported in my yesterday's update. Also, RIA Novosti's report that today, over the Rostov region, Russian air defense system shut down Ukrainian S-200 missile, converted missile, because S-200s originally are air defense systems missiles, but Kiev regime is converting them and are using for ground targeting. And one of those missiles were shut down in Rostov region. Also, by the way, RT's report about statements, very interesting and important, I believe, statements from former Russian president and maybe future Russian president and current deputy chairman of the Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev. And he said that Kiev is posing existential threat to Russia, which is significant because, well, Russia will have to continue fighting Ukraine until it takes Kiev. Former President Dmitry Medvedev has claimed the city has Russian roots, but is being run by US-led enemies of Moscow, meaning it poses existential threat, according to senior official who currently serves as deputy head of Russia's National Security Council. So this is a quite direct statement from from Medvedev, who is high-ranking official, and maybe next president of Russia, who knows, that Kiev is definitely in sights of Moscow. And this is at least indirect confirmation of my take on this situation, on this Ukrainian crisis. And as you know, I said millions of times, not millions, but dozens of times, that in my personal opinion, after this conflict will end, Ukraine will be divided between Russia and West. Western regions of Ukraine will be controlled by NATO member states, and the rest of the Ukraine by Russia, including Kiev, by the way. I will give to this scenario 99%, and only 1% slight chance that Kiev and surrounding few regions will remain as Ukraine, as a quasi-state, landlocked quasi-state. But yet again, why would Moscow allow that to happen? Because it is obvious that if Ukraine as a state will exist on political map under whatever borders, it will be used against Russia constantly by Western ruling class. So therefore, as Medvedev said, Russia will have to continue fighting and establish control over the Russian city that Kiev is, historically. Also, by the way, Medvedev made another important statement, in my opinion, while speaking with the journalists, with media representatives of Russian media outlets, and he said that arming Ukraine with F-16s may lead to nuclear war, which is true. And he is not the first high-ranking official in Russia that makes such statements. Supplying Ukraine with F-16 fighter jets poses a risk of causing nuclear conflict, former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev has warned. And basically he's articulating that that maybe some scenarios, if F-16s are delivered to Kiev regime, when those planes will take off from NATO member states, even without authorization from leadership of NATO or major Western capitals. And if that will happen, if F-16s will take off from, let's say, Romania and will conduct strikes on Russia, what that will mean and what that will cause. Of course, it will be seen by Moscow as a direct attack on Russia from NATO member states, from NATO, and it may easily provoke nuclear war. It may provoke nuclear war. So this is definitely yet another warning from Moscow that Western ruling elites are basically playing with the fire, nuclear fire in this case, and they should rethink their strategy. But unfortunately, I don't. There is very little chance that Western ruling elites will listen, because they just don't have a reverse gear. They can't, and they will escalate until someone will break their faces. Ruling elites of the West. When someone will take them out and break their faces, they will realize that, oh, there is a force there that can fight back, and we should then stop. Then self-protecting instincts may kick in those so-called elites in the West. Otherwise, there is not even slight chance, I guess, that they will rethink their strategy, or because they are unable to. They are unable to, and unfortunately, risk is quite high that eventually they will provoke nuclear exchange, maybe. It is what it is. What you're gonna do, man? Moscow is warning constantly. Don't do this. Don't do this. But there is no one on the opposite side in the Western ruling class that can listen and understand what Moscow is saying. It seems like they are in some parallel universe. By the way, I don't know. Also, by the way, RT's report that Sweden announces its largest ever Ukraine aid package. Sweden has announced the largest ever donation of military hardware to Ukraine, despite struggling to replenish stocks after previous aid packages due to sharply rising weapons prices. Defense Ministry in Stockholm unveiled its 15th aid package to Kyiv, worth $687 million US dollars. And after this package, overall spendings of Sweden for Kiev regime, in support of Kiev regime, will reach 2.9 billion US dollars. Well, unfortunate information, of course, unfortunate information, but Swedish ruling elites, they are quite clear that they are enemies of Russia. They hate us and they will do whatever to damage Russia. And this is, by the way, not something new. This is how history between two countries developed, historically speaking. I mean, Sweden is a long time enemy of Russia for centuries. And this tradition continues, nothing new, really. Which is unfortunate, which is really unfortunate, because why should we be enemies, man? I don't know. What Russia did since the Second World War, or in last, in 20th century, let's say, to deserve this hatred from Sweden. I mean, what Russia did? Nothing, really. If anything, Russia, Soviet Union was very supportive of Western states. And after all, it's Russia that neutralized Nazi Germany. That was a threat to whole world, especially Europe. Of course, European states also take their part, and US played its part, but major role was on Soviet Union to defeat Nazi Germany, isn't it? I don't know, maybe in the Western states history have been learned differently. Some people may don't even know that Soviet Union was fighting in Second World War, but well, real history is saying something different. But anyway, man, it's just unfortunate that these Western states, one by one, are openly declaring that they are our enemies. Okay, I mean, if you want to, then you're welcome. What can I say? Be our enemies. It's sad. RIA Novosti's report, by the way, that Kiev regime is blaming New York Times now for spreading that, accusing basically New York Times for spreading of Russian propaganda. And Zelensky and his associates, they are not happy that in recent New York Times article there was information that during this chaotic retreat from Avdiivka, Ukrainian forces may left up to 1,000 military personnel behind, and they are now POWs. Officially, we don't yet have statements from Russian Defense Ministry about exact number of POWs, Ukrainian POWs that are in Russian custody after Avdiivka operation. But well, rumors are that it's I mean 500, 700, 800, up to 1,000. At this point, probably only Russian Defense Ministry knows real number, and at some point we will probably receive information about it. But it's interesting, isn't it, that Kiev regime, Zelensky and his associates are so detached from reality that seems like they think everybody in this world owns them something, and no one should be allowed to even sometimes say something that is true. In this case, in New York Times. Anyway, RIA Novosti's report that Ukraine has up to 114,000 military personnel on a border with Belarus, according to Belarusian Defense Minister Viktor Khrenin. He made this statement during his interview with Russia 24 TV station. And according to him, only 17,000 Ukrainian military personnel is conducting this border security, are involved in border security. And the rest of them are just stationed there for whatever reason. And of course, we all know what main reason is. I don't think Kiev regime is planning to invade Belarus. Although, I mean, these guys in Kiev are crazy. They might have such ideas, I don't know. But most likely they are deploying this huge number of military personnel on the northern borders because they are afraid that Russian armed forces may conduct offensive in direction of Chernigov, Sumy regions, in direction of Kiev, and they may do it from Belarus. Theoretically, it is possible. Theoretically, it is possible. So it's not really a big surprise that Kiev regime is stationing there quite a big number of military personnel. Artists report, by the way, that Ukraine conflict cost Germany over 200 billion euros, according to expert. So Germany's decisions since the start of the Ukraine conflict nearly 2 years ago have cost the country more than 200 billion euros, which is 216 billion US dollars. The president of German Institute for Economic Research, Marcel Fratzscher, I'm butchering surname of this individual, but well, Marcel Fratzscher has estimated. The expert told Dear Rainchin Post that rising energy prices have been among the main contributing factors, which is not surprising at all. And I'm afraid 200 billion euros losses for Germany is just the beginning, because energy cost will only increase. The industrialization of Germany will only accelerate, and more companies will be forced to move their manufacturing capabilities, manufacturing plants out of Germany. And main direction is, of course, Northern America, US primarily. And well, who knows what will be final cost of policies of current government of Germany. Maybe trillions of euros in losses. Who knows? But yet again, who to blame? I mean, government of Germany, isn't it? TASS news agencies report that British Royal Navy is confirmed information that yet another attack take place on civilian or commercial ship on the coast of Yemen, off the coast of Yemen, 70 miles on the southeast from the Aden, port of Aden. And well, what you gonna comment, I mean, on this? After US and UK start striking Yemen, these Yemeni attacks on the commercial ships did not really stop. It just even accelerate, as I understand it. It was predictable. And maybe it would be better if Washington and London spent some more time and effort to persuade Yemeni Houthi rebels or Ansar Allah movement not to conduct these strikes. Maybe diplomacy will work better, as many were suggesting, but I don't know, man. Maybe there are no more diplomats left in Washington, real diplomats left in Washington and London. And nowadays, by the way, European Union is also starting to participate in these anti-Yemeni operations. And I guess if now Ansar Allah movement is targeting commercial vessels that are associated with Israel, US and UK, then once EU member states and their warships will start operations, and there are some informations that French warship already take some action against Yemen, then well, I guess commercial vessels of EU member states will also be targeted by Yemeni Houthis. And eventually, I mean, this one of the major shipping routes in the world will shut down. That's how it's gonna be. Artists report that Russia tears up Soviet-era fishing agreement with the UK, which is well, quite unfortunate news for all the people who loves fish and chips, British dish, world famous British dish. I report some time ago that Russia was considering to stop agreement with the United Kingdom and not to allow British fishermen to fish in the northern waters of Russia. And it's official now, I guess. Let's go through the news. British fishermen will be banned from operating in the Barents Sea on the world's largest fisheries for the cod and haddock. And both these fishes are, by the way, main fishes that are used in the fish and chips. Under new legislation passed by the lower house of the Russian parliament, the State Duma, on Wednesday, the bill, which resigns an agreement signed between the governments of USSR and the UK and the Northern Ireland in 1956, was passed in the third reading. The so-called fisheries agreement had allowed British ships to fish in the Barents Sea off the north coast of Kola Peninsula. It was initially signed for a period of 5 years and automatically renewed every 5 years since neither party ever withdrew from the agreement. And well, I guess Putin will sign this law in upcoming days, and British fishermen will be banned to fish in this area. That means prices of fish and chips will go up in United Kingdom, which is unfortunate because it's ordinary people like us, by the way, that it's in this takeaways or this relatively budget restaurants, let's say, which is fish and chips. When I was living in England, I had a few options after work. I might take fish and chips or wings and hot wings and chips. That's what all majority people were doing. Maybe not majority, but many people, let's say. And this decision, unfortunately, were hurt. First of all, the small businesses, fishermen, and ordinary British citizens. But yet again, Moscow has to respond on anti-Russian steps of London, isn't it? It's forceful decision. Otherwise, I'm quite sure Moscow will not even remember this agreement. But it is what it is. London acts aggressively towards Russia, and Russia has to respond one way or another. TASS news agencies report, by the way, that in 13th package, anti-Russian sanctions package of EU, there will be some companies sanctioned from India, China, and Turkey. So Brussels now escalating, not just with Russia, but also with Beijing, New Delhi, and Ankara. Well, good luck with it. Good luck with it. I'm quite sure a response will be swift and not really nice one for Brussels. Especially from China, by the way. Especially from China. ATIS report that Russia is to triple LNG exports by 2030, according to Deputy Prime Minister. This is a big deal, of course, because after collapse of economic, political ties with Europe, of course, Russia will redirect its energy exports from west to the east, and the significant volumes of Russian pipeline gas, of course, will be converted into liquefied form and will be exported as a LNG. And so Russia plans to continue ramping up both output and export of liquefied natural gas, LNG. Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak announced on the Tuesday, as cited by RIA Novosti news agency. During an address at the Russia Forum in the Moscow, Novak said that by 2030 LNG exports would be ramped up to 110 million tons per year, nearly triple the volume Russia supplied to the global market last year. And this is good news for Russia, of course. This is good news for Russia. There is a huge market in the Asia and in the Indo-Pacific region. And there will be a huge demand, by the way, on Russian LNG, undoubtedly. But this is also news that elites in the Europe should watch carefully, because once Russia will redirect its energy outflow towards southeast, there will be no return back from there. And if in 5, 10, 15 years time, European states, at least some of them, will try to normalize relationships with Russia to gain access to some Russian energy, it would not happen. It would not be easy, even if both sides will have positive attitudes towards idea. Technically it would not be easy, because the majority of Russian energy sector will be directed towards other regions of the world. But I don't know, man. I don't think current leadership in Europe thinks this far. And I will end this update, if I may, with this news. According to RIA Novosti, there was 2 massive ejections, coronal mass ejections on the sun last night, by the way. And Russia, this planet, by the way, our planet is, it was lucky that both these ejections and this mass now of charged particles, wave of those charged particles, will slightly miss our planet. Otherwise, by the way, if one day there will be massive coronal ejection on the sun, and if Earth will go through this wave of charged particles, it may destroy, if it's strong enough, it may take out all the electricity, everything electronic on this planet. Grid and just about everything that has no protection from such a event, and very few things have such protection. So, well, that's last news, by the way. Sun reminds us that they are much more important and powerful stuff in this universe that we may think, because sometimes, humans may get confused and think that, what, universe is circling around us, but not really. We are kind of speck of dust on the scale of universe. But anyway, by the way, it's good that these charged particles will miss our planet. But one day, Earth may not be that lucky, and humanity. And according to experts, scientists, our planet may end up in a stone age. It's exaggeration, of course, but damage may be extremely significant if one day our planet will be hit by this coronal mass ejection from the sun. And this is it for now. Quite short update, by the way. Quite short update, and hopefully you will find it interesting and informative. And if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary just about anything. More likes and comments probably will help me to deal with the algorithm on both platforms, by the way, on Rumble and YouTube. And if you can, please share links to my videos or my channels with your friends on any of the platforms that you are active or actively using. And finally, if you think this project with several channels, several programs is useful, interesting, informative, and deserves to exist, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. You can see links under this video in the description box or in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a great day and take care.